The blizzard howled over the white ridges of Dalkari Prime, blanketing the frozen valley in silence. Above it all stood the obsidian spire, black stone, ancient runes glowing faintly beneath the snow. It was the seat of power for Queen Cirith of Valezira, ruler of the Cold Star tribes, and she was dying inside it. Not of wounds, not of age, but of betrayal. Her father, High Sovereign Valor, had ruled with iron will and quiet wisdom. He'd kept the warring tribes unified barely under the banner of the spiral crown. But now he was dead, poisoned, and Ciritha's own blood kin, uncles, cousins, even former allies, all whispered the same thing. She's too young, too soft. A female cannot rule alone. They wanted her seat, her crown, her death. She stood alone in the great hall, cloaked in ceremonial armor of dark steel and ebon crystal, violet eyes glowing under the light of the storm. Her silver circlet pulsed faintly on her brow. Not yet the spiral crown, just the proving band. Until her seat was secured through right or blood, she was a queen only in name. "My lady," said Commander Drajan, kneeling before her. "There's something strange, a being captured on the outer ice. Not of this world." She turned sharply. "Describe it." "A male, warm-bodied, not scaled, weak in structure but covered in primitive fabrics. Alone. We believe he came from the breach point near the fallen sky vault." Her heart stilled. "A breach? From the stars? Bring him." They dragged him in minutes later, flanked by 2 guards in energy-bind cuffs. The man was tall by human standards, perhaps 6 feet, with frostbitten cheeks, short dark hair, and clothes soaked from the snow. His breath fogged the air, but his eyes, blue as glacier fire, scanned the room, sharp and cautious. She stepped forward, her armor humming with contained power. "You are not of this planet," she said, her voice firm but curious. "Nope," he coughed. "Definitely not. This doesn't look like Earth's version of Canada." She frowned. "Earth, your homeworld." "Yeah, where I'm not currently, thanks to some kind of wormhole." He looked up at her, then blinked. "Are you in charge here? Or is this a cosplay convention?" The guards moved, but she raised a hand. "Your name?" "Liam." He straightened slightly. "Liam Archer. And you are?" "I am Queen Cirith of Valezira, ruler of the northern tribes. You stand in my court." "Cool. Do I get a translator or are you just really good at English?" "We adapt fast." She tilted her head. "Why did you come here?" "I didn't come here on purpose," Liam said. "I was testing equipment at an observatory when something tore the sky open and swallowed me. Next thing I know, I'm knee-deep in your alien snowstorm being chased by those guys." He nodded at the guards. She stared for a moment longer, then made a decision. "Unbind him." "My queen," Drajan objected. "Do it. He's unarmed. Weak. If he had come to kill me, I would already be dead." The guards hesitated, then obeyed. Liam rubbed his wrists. "Thanks. That metal stuff stings." She turned to him. "You're not a threat, but you are unexpected. And in these times, unexpected things can be useful. Or dangerous. I'm guessing you're dealing with some political mess?" She narrowed her eyes. "You speak too casually for one before a queen. I also just crash-landed into an alien world. Cut me some slack." A pause. Then, a slight smile tugged at the corner of her lips. That night, Cirith stood on her balcony, watching the lightning crawl across the distant clouds. Her palace was vast, cold, and filled with eyes. Spies, doubters, opportunists. She trusted no one, not even Drajan, her most loyal general. And yet, this human, Liam, he spoke with no fear, no deceit. He had nothing to gain, and that made him pure. Perhaps that was why she sent for him. Liam was seated awkwardly in a chamber lit with floating lanterns, steam rising from a bowl of unfamiliar food. Alien meat, root veggies, and something that glowed faintly blue. "I'm not sure if this is dinner or fuel," he joked. She entered without warning. He stood. "Your Majesty." "Sit." I'm not here to test your manners. He sat. She joined him across the table, still in armor. You're different from your kind, she said. Your species was known to us, in theory, long ago, but we did not believe any would reach us. Believe me, I didn't mean to. You said you are a scientist? Astrophysicist. I study space-time anomalies. Guess I found one. The hard way. She leaned in slightly. And you have no way back? He hesitated, then shook his head. Not unless I find the breach again, if it's even stable. She studied him for a long moment, her glowing eyes unreadable. Then you are stranded. Looks like it. Then make yourself useful. She stood. I am being hunted. By those who believe I am unfit to rule. And now I have a guest that no one expected. A wild card. I'm not a soldier. No, she said. You're something rarer. Honest. She stepped closer. He looked up, and in the flickering light, saw her not as a queen or alien, but a woman. Strong. Beautiful. Burdened. I will give you shelter, she said softly. In exchange, you will give me your truth. Help me see what my advisors hide. He nodded slowly. Deal. And in that moment, the first thread between them was woven, thin, invisible, but real. Over the next few days, Liam remained in the palace. Guards eyed him with suspicion, but he noticed something deeper, fear. Not of him, but of the storm building behind the throne. Assassins watched from shadows. Voices stopped when he entered rooms. Queen Cirith, however, remained composed. In public, she was cold stone. In private, with Liam, she was human. They would talk late at night, about her world, her memories of her father. A great leader who never smiled, yet once held her hand as she wept over a broken-winged beast she tried to heal as a child. He told me, she said, eyes distant, that a ruler must sometimes choose between love and survival. I didn't understand it then. Do you now? Liam asked. She didn't answer. The attack came on the 7th night. A blast rocked the palace's east wing. Screams echoed. Red alarms flared. Liam ducked as guards rushed past. Cirith appeared seconds later, blade in hand, armor glowing with shield runes. Stay here, she ordered. Hell no, Liam said. I'm coming with you. You'll die. Better than hiding while someone tries to kill you. She stared at him, and for the first time nodded. They moved together through corridors lit with flickering lights. Bodies of guards lay twisted in smoke. At the heart of the palace, 5 cloaked attackers clashed with her elite. Cirith charged, her blade singing with plasma. Liam found a fallen guard's rifle, clunky, alien, but close enough to Earth's tech for him to aim. He fired. One attacker dropped. Another turned on him, but Cirith cut them down mid-leap, her eyes blazing with fury. When it was over, the marble was stained with ash and blood. She stood, chest heaving, then turned to Liam. You fought beside me. I said I would. I thought you were bluffing. He smiled, breathless. I'm a terrible liar. That night, in the silent chambers, she removed her armor before him, for the first time. Not in seduction, in trust. Scars traced her skin like stories. I owe you my life, she said quietly. You don't, he replied. You owe me dinner that isn't glowing. She laughed, truly, for the first time in weeks. And outside, the storm began to calm. But within the palace, the fire between them had only just begun. The fires had been extinguished. The blood was scrubbed from the black marble floors. But in the echo of every step, Queen Cirith could still feel the betrayal burning. Her court was shaken. The attack had pierced the inner sanctum, something unthinkable under her father's reign. Rumors whispered through the halls like smoke. A faction had aligned with southern warlords, the spiral crown was in danger, and the queen was no longer alone. Everyone had seen the strange man, the off-worlder who fought beside her in the throne chamber. His name spread like wildfire. The queen keeps him close. They say he saved her life. What is he really doing here? She ignored the whispers, because for the first time since her father's death, She wasn't carrying the weight of the throne alone. Liam adjusted his cloak as he walked through the outer balcony gardens. Vast, frozen, and brimming with alien flora that shimmered under the twin moons. He'd spent the last 5 days learning the layout of the palace, dodging court politics, and working with Cirith to identify the hidden traitors among her guard. He'd also learned that alien food still didn't sit well with his stomach. "I brought something for that." He turned at the sound of her voice. Cirith stood at the archway, dressed not in armor, but in a flowing obsidian robe laced with thin violet embroidery. Her hair was loose for once, cascading down her back like strands of starlight. She looked softer than usual, though her presence still demanded silence. She handed him a glass vial. Inside, a silvery blue liquid swirled like living metal. "Digestive stabilizer," she said. "For your weak Terran biology." Liam grinned. "Nice. So now I won't die from the soup." "Not immediately," she replied, deadpan, then smirked faintly. He took the vial and swallowed it, wincing. Tasted like mint and regret. "I have something to show you," she said after a pause. "What is it?" She didn't answer, just turned and walked away, expecting him to follow. He did. They moved deep into the palace, beyond the known halls, into a locked corridor sealed with ancient runes. 2 guards stood post, but stepped aside at her gesture. The door slid open with a low hiss, revealing a chamber unlike anything Liam had seen before. It was circular, domed with crystal glass, revealing the cosmos above. Stars glittered overhead, and in the center of the room stood a single relic, a throne made entirely of black crystal, floating inches above a glowing dais. "This is the heart seat," Cirith said. "The true throne, the one no ruler has sat upon in 3 generations." Liam stared. "Why?" "Because it judges the soul." She walked slowly to its edge. "Anyone can wear a crown, but the heart seat, it chooses. If you sit upon it and you are found unworthy, it burns you from the inside out." Pleasant. "It was built by the first rulers of my line, a sentient throne, alive in some way, connected to the ancient systems buried beneath this world." She turned to him. "Only those with the courage to risk everything may claim it. And you haven't sat on it yet." "No," her voice was barely a whisper. "Because if I do and it rejects me, my people will never follow me again. And I will die, literally and politically." Liam stepped closer, his voice gentler now. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because," she said, "I trust you." The words hit harder than he expected. "I don't trust easily," she continued, "but you have no stake in my politics. No alliances. You helped me without demand. You see things others overlook. And you make me feel something I haven't felt in a long time." "What's that?" "Safe." A long silence passed between them. Outside, the stars seemed to lean closer. They spent the evening in her private chamber, a vast, warm sanctum with walls lined in ancient books, tech relics, and soft glows from suspended lights. A fire pit crackled at the center. Pillows were arranged in a loose circle where they sat cross-legged, sipping from ceramic cups. "What do humans do?" she asked. "When they feel something real?" Liam looked at her carefully. "We usually screw it up, or we hold on and hope it lasts." She tilted her head, studying him. "And which are you?" "I guess I'm about to find out." Her hand brushed against his. It was the first real touch, not an accident. Not in combat, but chosen. She didn't pull away, nor did he. "Cirith," he said softly. "This place, this throne, the betrayal, it's crushing you." "Yes. You don't have to carry it alone." "No," she whispered. "Now, I don't." She leaned in. The kiss was slow, unsure for a moment, as if they both feared shattering the bond that had formed. But it deepened quickly. Her lips were warm, her breath cool like moonlight. He pulled her closer, his fingers finding the small of her back, the curve of her waist under the soft robe. She let out a sound, low, breathy, and her hand slid into his hair, pulling him down gently onto the thick woven cushions. The firelight danced across their bodies as they shed the walls between them, figuratively and literally. Her skin shimmered in places he touched, as if responding to emotion, bioluminescent patterns flickering gently. Scars traced her shoulders like ancient maps. He traced them with his fingers. "You're not afraid?" she asked against his neck. "Of you? Never. Of us." He met her eyes. "Only that it might not last." She smiled, sad, beautiful. "Then make it matter." They became one under the stars that night, not just in body, but in rhythm, in breath, in trust. It was not a desperate act of lust, but a quiet defiance against the chaos of the world around them. They awoke tangled in the cushions. For a moment, there was only stillness. Her hand on his chest, his fingers in her hair. A shared silence that needed no words. But it couldn't last. A sharp knock rattled the door. Drajan's voice cut through. "Your Majesty," urgent message. "The council has convened without your summons." Cirith tensed. "They mean to challenge me, to force a decision." Liam sat up. "What do you need me to do?" She looked at him, and for the first time, fear cracked her voice. "Be seen beside me." He blinked. "That's all." She nodded. "You fought beside me, saved me. Now they see you as something new. A symbol, an unknown power. And in politics, perception is everything." He stood, still shirtless. "I should probably wear something less human." She laughed. "I had something made for you. Come." An hour later, Liam stood beside her in the council hall, clad in fitted dark leathers trimmed with silver sigils. Not a soldier, not a prince, something in between. The gathered nobles rose as Cirith entered, head high, robes of state trailing behind her. She carried no crown, only a curved staff of command. Gasps echoed when Liam followed behind. Some faces turned pale, others furious. "Queen Cirith," one of the elders spoke, "you defy protocol. You bring a foreigner, an off-worlder, into sacred space." She smiled coldly. "You brought assassins into my bedchamber. Let us both ignore protocol." Murmurs. Liam stood silent, unreadable, but his gaze met theirs, not threatening but unafraid. Cirith stepped forward. "This man saved my life, risked himself for a world not his own. He has no reason to lie, no alliances to bind him, and he believes in me." She looked around the hall. "Can any of you say the same?" Silence. Then, from the back, "If you trust him so much, let him prove it." All eyes turned to the speaker. Lord Velka, her cousin and most dangerous rival. "Let him undergo the trial of flame. If he is worthy, we follow you. If he fails, you renounce the throne." A deadly silence settled. Liam looked to Cirith. "What's the trial of flame?" "A test," she said quietly. "Survive the fire that reveals truth." He turned back to the room. "I'll do it," she spun. "Liam." "No. You said you need people who believe in you." He looked into her eyes. "I do." That night, as he stood before the trial chamber, ready to walk into fire for a queen he barely understood, a woman he had come to love, Cirith kissed him again, fiercely. "If you die," she said, "I will burn this world to avenge you. If I live, then we burn it together." The heat was alive. The trial of flame was no ritual illusion. It was a crucible built into the ancient veins of the planet itself. A volcanic chamber beneath the palace where rivers of molten crystal pulsed with raw energy. A suspended bridge of obsidian hovered over a lake of liquid fire. To pass the trial, one had to cross alone, no armor, no weapons, and return without falling to madness or being burned alive. Few had ever tried. Fewer had survived. None had ever been human. Liam stood at the edge of the bridge, stripped to a ceremonial robe, the sigil of House Cirith drawn across his chest in iridescent blue paint. The heat licked his skin, stung his eyes. The air shimmered with power, thick as liquid. Across the chamber, nobles, generals, and advisors watched in tense silence. And at the highest ledge, cloaked in regal black and violet, stood Queen Cirith. Her face was stone, but her hands were clenched. Trajan leaned toward her. He doesn't have to do this. Yes, she whispered. He does. Not for the council. For them. Below, Liam stepped onto the bridge. The moment his foot touched the obsidian, the chamber shifted. The fire roared louder. The bridge vibrated with energy. Strange whispers tickled the edges of his thoughts. Memories, fears, truths. He took another step, and another. Then the voices struck like thunder. You do not belong here. You are weak. You are foreign, forgotten, alone. He stumbled as the temperature surged. Sweat poured down his face. His vision swam. The path ahead twisted, stretched, bent like glass under pressure. Flames rose from the pit, licking his legs, but didn't burn him. Not yet. He remembered Siritha's words. The fire does not test the body, tests the soul. Images flashed in his mind. The war back on Earth. His failures. The lives he couldn't save. His brother's broken body. The final transmission. The silence afterward. Not again, he muttered. The flame hissed. Weakness. The whispers taunted. You ran before. You'll run now. Liam growled. I didn't come here to run. He took another step. The bridge cracked behind him. The fire rose higher, now climbing his legs, coiling like snakes made of heat and memory. His skin blistered, then healed instantly over and over. He saw Siritha's face in the flames. Not calm, not regal, afraid. And then her voice, not whispered, but thunderous in his heart. If you die, I'll burn this world to avenge you. If you live, we burn it together. Liam screamed into the fire. Not in fear, but in rage, in defiance. He charged forward. The fire struck his chest. He stumbled, then roared. I'm not here for power. I'm here for her. With one last surge of will, he crossed the bridge, collapsing onto the far platform, gasping, drenched in sweat but untouched by flame. Silence. Then the fire dimmed. The chamber cooled, and the bridge solidified again. Liam stood, burned, blistered, but breathing. The council chamber was deathly quiet when he returned. Sirith descended from her platform as the nobles stood, stunned. Lord Velka's mouth hung open. The fire accepted him, someone whispered. No, Sirith said clearly. It revealed him. She stood beside Liam. Now you understand why he walks beside me. Lord Velka recovered, scowling. He's still an outsider. The trial does not grant nobility. Siritha's eyes gleamed. Then I do. She turned to Liam and placed her hand on his shoulder. Before all gathered, she said, I name you Shield of the Crown, my protector, my bondmate. And when this war is over, my king. Gasps erupted. Liam froze. Wait! But she leaned in close and whispered, let them choke on it. He smiled. Later, alone in her war chamber, Sirith spread the holographic map across the table. Glowing red icons marked troop movements, supply blockades, enemy strongholds. Velka's rebellion was spreading. Fast. He's moving north, Trajan reported, trying to gain control of the Windspire cannons. If he does, we lose the skies, Sirith finished. And what about the defectors? Liam asked. 3 noble houses declared neutrality, she said. 2 have already been bribed. And the rest, she looked at him grimly, will either follow us into battle or betray us before dawn. He studied her, the way her jaw clenched, the way her shoulders bore the invisible weight of a dying dynasty. You need a symbol, he said. I already have the throne. No, you need the people. She tilted her head. Explain. He pointed to the map. You're seen as royal, distant, alien. But if they see you fight with them, if they see you bleed beside them, they'll die for you. She studied him for a long moment. I was raised never to lower myself to the battlefield. Then it's time to rewrite the rules. 3 days later, the sky burned. Sirith led her fleet into open war, riding atop a sleek Star Rider, flanked by twin destroyers. Her voice echoed across every channel. This is not about bloodlines. This is about the future. We do not fight for thrones. We fight for each other. The battle for the Windspire was brutal. Liam fought at her side, clad in custom armor made from alloyed starbone and obsidian, wielding a plasma glaive gifted by the Forge sisters. They cut through Velka's troops like fire through snow. At one point, Cirith was cornered. Liam threw himself between her and a plasma spear, catching the blow across his ribs. The pain was blinding, but he didn't fall. She helped him to his feet, hands trembling. "I told you," he gasped. "You're not alone." She kissed him right there, in the middle of battle. The troops around them roared in support. Velka's army broke an hour later. The Windspire cannons were reclaimed. The rebel fleet retreated, and the broken nobles began sending desperate messages to the palace. The war wasn't over, but its tide had turned. That night, back in her chambers, Cirith tended to his wounds. "You're insane," she said gently, dabbing a burn. "You kissed me on a battlefield," he said. "You're one to talk." She laughed softly. "They're already writing songs. They better leave out the part where I almost passed out." She set the cloth aside and climbed into the bed beside him. "You were right," she said. "I usually am." She rolled her eyes. "About being seen. About showing them we're more than blood and power." He looked at her. "We." She nodded. "After the war, I want to make it official. Not just as queen, but as Cirith." His throat tightened. "You sure? Your people will learn, or they'll fall behind." She kissed him again. "You didn't just help me save a throne, Liam. You reminded me I'm more than a ruler." He held her close. "And you reminded me I'm more than a broken soldier." Outside, the moons rose together, a rare celestial moment believed to mark the beginning of new destinies. Inside, a queen and her warrior lay side by side, the weight of the world momentarily forgotten. But beyond the stars, something stirred. Unseen. Waiting. It began with a smile. Lord Velka stood in the grand hall of the Starspire Citadel, wrists chained, face bloodied, but eyes unchanged. Cold. Defiant. "You should have killed me on the battlefield," he said to Queen Cirith. "I still might," she replied, standing tall before the gathered council. The chamber was tense. War had left scars in its stones and its people. The royal banners hung heavy with ash. Yet Cirith stood unbowed with Liam beside her, not as prisoner, not as outsider, but as consort and war hero. Velka laughed quietly. "Even now you cling to him, a human, a symbol of your weakness. He stood where you fled. He bled where you bribed. And he crossed the trial of flame," Cirith replied coldly. "Your legacy is broken." Velka's gaze narrowed. "Then let it break." And then his chest split open. Gasps. Screams. Not from a blade. From within. His body convulsed, his bones cracking, flesh warping. Black tendrils burst from his spine. His skin melted like wax, revealing an armored shell beneath. Liam pulled Cirith behind him. "Get back!" "Void spawn!" someone cried. The parasite burst fully through Velka's body, revealing a long, coiled creature of midnight scales and glowing blue eyes. "The queen must die," it hissed in a voice not its own. The guards opened fire. The creature moved like smoke and lightning. 2. The last stand. Within minutes, the entire palace was under attack. Velka, it turned out, had not only allied with traitorous nobles but had made a pact with beings from outside the known galaxy. Creatures birthed in the vacuum between stars. Thought to be myth, now very real. Void spawn poured through hidden portals, tearing through the city, corrupting anything alive. Screams echoed from the lower levels. The shields flickered. "This wasn't rebellion," Cirith said, eyes blazing. "It was invasion." "Then we fight," Liam said. They suited up one last time. Cirith donned the ceremonial war crown, its twin points glowing like nova blades. She activated the living armor of her bloodline, forged from void stone and woven plasma, its circuits bonded to her DNA. Liam took up the glaive again, heavier now with memory, and kissed her once before they boarded the lift to the surface. The skies were red. The city was burning. Ships screamed overhead in dogfights against alien intruders. Civilians fled in chaos. The palace was the last beacon of resistance. Cirith opened a broadcast to all remaining forces. This is not about blood, not about power. This is about survival. Fight not for the crown, but for the future. The soldiers responded with thunder. They fought together limb by limb, breath by breath. The couple became legend on the battlefield, seen in flashes of lightning and fire. At one point, Cirith fell, dragged down by 3 void spawn. Liam dove into the fray, impaling 2, taking the third with a plasma pulse to the head. He lifted her with trembling hands. "I've got you," he said. She smiled, blood in her teeth. "Always." 3. The Crown of Fire. As dawn broke, the tide turned. The royal guard, along with loyal tribes, stormed the palace in a final surge. Drajan detonated the central void gate with a suicidal strike, collapsing the portal network. The remaining void spawn died screaming as the queen and her consort stood atop the burning tower, holding the royal banner aloft. The war was over. 4. The Wedding of Two Worlds. 2 months later, the sun shone on a rebuilt star spire. For the first time in its history, the coronation was also a wedding. Cirith wore black and silver, symbols of both mourning and rebirth. Liam stood beside her, wearing ceremonial robes etched with the trial's flame mark and the sigils of the allied tribes. The gathered thousands watched in silence. "Do you, Queen Cirith of House Cirith, swear to rule not just as sovereign, but as shield, flame, and mother to this world?" "I do." "Do you, Liam of Earth, vow to stand beside her, not above nor below, but as partner, protector, and king?" "I do." The High Flamekeeper placed the crown of flame upon both their heads, a rare dual coronation. Then they kissed, and the city roared with joy. 5. Legacy. 5 years later, the palace gardens overflowed with alien blossoms. Crystalline birds danced in the air. Children's laughter echoed through the open halls. Liam walked beside Cirith, holding her hand. Their 2 children, a daughter named Neres and a son named Cain, ran ahead, wearing toy crowns and chasing light drones. "They look like you," Liam said. "They have your stubbornness," Cirith replied with a smirk. He laughed. "They'll need it." Across the galaxy, stories were told of the human who passed the trial of flame, and the alien queen who chose love over tradition, war over submission, and forged peace in fire. Together, they ruled not with fear, but with legacy.